Welcome to 3D Amazon FBA. Today I'm going to go over wholesale and my thoughts on wholesale and all the ins and outs of how I run my wholesale business. So before I get into it, make sure you guys like, subscribe to the channel. About half the people that watch my videos aren't subscribed. I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. I do help a lot of people with their Amazon business. And I would like to help more people if possible. So anyways, so I want to get into the wholesale portion of my Amazon business here. So the first thing is why am I shifting more toward wholesale, and do I recommend other people start looking into wholesale? So the reason why is everybody knows prices of everything are shooting up pretty much everywhere. It's been kind of an insane year as far as pricing of goods and gas and stuff like that. So with wholesale, typically you're buying larger quantities at one time, which is a bigger investment, which I understand that not everybody can do. But there are wholesalers you can buy like 30, 40 items at a time. But the idea is you buy it the one time, you prep it, and then you send it in, and then you don't have to worry about it for a month or two. You know, I try to, sorry, trying to think, but anyways, I try to ship it all at one time, and that's generally because, during Christmas, I was trying to piece it out. Like there's a wholesale item I have, I bought 600 units, and I was trying to send out like 60, 70 at a time. And Amazon was losing a lot of product, and I had a very hard time getting reimbursed for the stuff they were losing. So typically I do send it in all at one time because it's just easier for filing reimbursements if you need to. So whenever I'm looking for a wholesale account, typically I look for smaller companies. So for example, Johnson and Johnson, I was just filling them out. So I sent in an inquiry to Johnson and Johnson, and they wanted me to spend $500,000 annually to open up a wholesale account with them. Obviously, I don't have that kind of money, and a lot of us aren't going to have that kind of money either, especially to drop on one company within one calendar year. So if you look for smaller companies, typically they don't really want you to purchase, or don't demand you purchase as much at a time as these giant conglomerate companies like, say, Johnson and Johnson. So I did the video the other day about how I spent $8,500 on the one company. They literally had, I think it was under 40 SKUs. It was like 30, 40 SKUs total. Um, and another thing with smaller companies is people, I'm finding, don't really seem to look for the smaller companies. So with the SKUs for this company that I just purchased all this stuff from, they only had 2 or 3 sellers per item. There's a couple that had one, and I think there was one that had like 5 or 6 people. So there's not very much competition, which is key because wholesale is a quantity game. You want to sell as much as you can because your margins are going to be lower. If you go source, say, toys at Ross, um, you're looking 50, 60% return on investment. If you're really lucky, you could double up your money. With wholesale, you're looking for more like, if you spend five, you're going to get $2 back. Your return on investment is much lower. So you do need to make sure you're selling enough to make it worth your while. The item I bought 600 of at Christmas time, I sell anywhere from 10 to 20 a day, every single day. Otherwise, I wouldn't buy it, because I'm making like $1.50 each. But if I'm selling 20 a day, that's $30 profit a day, $900 profit a month off that one item. So that's kind of the key to wholesale. So I look for smaller companies with very little competition, so I could just sell quite a bit every day. So that's very important, at least to me, in how I'm doing my wholesale, is to sell as much as possible. So you do want to go with smaller companies with less competition. And you will run into a lot where companies don't want to sell to you, and it sucks. I mean, I probably get one approval for every 10, 15 that I send out, and a lot of times because of Amazon fees, I'm not even going to make enough to make it worth my while. So it's very hard for me to find good wholesale accounts because of those reasons. But companies don't want to sell to you because either they're selling themselves, They're planning on selling themselves. They have exclusive deals with other sellers. Excuse me. Sorry about that. But anyways, a lot of them don't want counterfeits like Lily's. They are like a milk chocolate chip company. And I hit them up and they just said, no, we don't want anybody selling any of our stuff on Amazon. We're worried about people counterfeiting our stuff and diminishing our brand. Some companies are extremely protective of their brand. Another company, Popcornopolis, they've since I reached out to them, started selling to Amazon, and I find them sometimes at like grocery outlet and whatnot. But they didn't want to open a wholesale account with me because they want people to buy from their stores, and they told me that they're happy with their current setup as far as online or e-commerce sales through their own personal websites. So they didn't want to open up an account with me. So I ran into all these different reasons as to why people don't want to open up wholesale accounts with you. And it sucks, but you just have to keep searching, keep searching. You can even hit up companies that already declined you because, the circumstances might change, but don't get discouraged. Just keep pumping out applications. If you can send out, like, say, 20 applications a day, you might get one or two that are worthwhile, and you'll never know what that will lead to. And as far as how much to buy, I try to look for stuff that'll get me through 2 months. So I only order from a company for 2 months. Is about how I try to work it out. So a lot of, well, I don't want to say a lot, but there's some companies that will really gouge you for shipping. So I'll sit there and I'll kind of finagle the numbers. Like I'll add cases, deduct cases to see what I can do to get the best shipping rate per item. So if I was to buy 100 of these and 100 of these from a wholesale company, the shipping rate will be, say $100 or whatever. So I'll take the 200 of these total, I'll divide it into that $100, and that will get me, say, 50 cents each for shipping. And I add that to the product cost. That's how I work out all my costs. I don't do like special line items in my inventory lab or your Excel spreadsheet for expenses. I add the cost to the items per item per. I add that cost per item to the purchase price of the item when I put it into inventory lab. But I try to go 2 months worth, especially since I sell grocery. You don't want stuff that are so far out that it could expire. So 2 months seems to be really good for me. But really this is all I do for my wholesale accounts is, I pump out applications whenever I feel like it. I try to buy 2 months worth. I don't even worry about companies turning me down because it happens more times than not. Look for small companies because you're going to have less competition generally, and your entry cost is going to be much lower. And I do send it all in at once, and that's only because it helps me with disbursements from Amazon. If Amazon was more accurate as far as receiving our stuff, I would piece it out, like a couple boxes here and there to save on storage fees. But that's really up to you guys. What's more important to you, saving money on storage fees and risking, or making it easier for disbursements, or whatever. I mean, make it hard for disbursement. Excuse me. You get what I'm saying. So, anyways, that's what I do for my wholesale business. If you guys have any comments or questions, leave them down below. I really appreciate it. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.